rusty. Tolex is in not the best of shape. I think that's an original speaker, or they replaced it for a 15-inch or something. I'll have to check. And the Tolex is like off. But that might be to our advantage, because we might re-Tolex it then. Get some rusty times up in there, but let's see if we can clean it up. Okay, Adventures in Amp Repair Part 2. Let's see what we got here. Get the chassis out. Replaced a whole bunch of input jacks because the ones that were there were pretty rusty. This is the honesty bag of, you know, all the parts you take out from the original. You want to keep them together and give it to the person if you ever sell the amp, which I don't know if I could sell this amp. I don't think it'd be worth anything. So, a couple things. These pots look original, but I don't think any of these wires are original, or I'm having doubts. Some of the wires were kind of disconnected, so that might explain why it wasn't sounding that great. Not that I just were going on the word of the person that I bought it from that it wasn't sounding great. I didn't even fire it up because I wanted to take a look at it first. That is the so-called death cap. Basically, I'm going to clip that out because I don't think I need it. If it's noisy, maybe I'll put another one back in, or probably not. I just don't want, if that ever fails, it'll ground or it'll put AC current on the chassis, and I don't want that. Another interesting thing, this value, capacitor, is 22 microfarads, which is fine, I guess, because these two are microfarads, 22 microfarads also. And that one's 20, which is one of the original ones, and that's why it says like made in the USA, and it's probably like, oh, not that you can read it, but that's one of the original ones. I think there was like a canister here that it's supposed to be, that these were supposed to be, and they shouldn't be like on top of this other circuit stuff. Not that you can barely see that. It's like he just kind of soldered them in place. But getting back to this one, I was like, okay, how many filter caps do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. But wait a second, that doesn't match our schematic. I'm looking here and I see 1, 2, 3. So where's that fourth one from? And then I started taking a closer look, and it should be that one, that coupling cap. I guess you don't need a second coupling cap because you have this weird transformer here that does the phase inversion. And because it's a transformer, I don't think you need a coupling cap, I guess. I don't know. I have to investigate that. But that one, I think that they replaced it thinking that it was a filter cap or something, because I guess it does come off the filter cap or something. I'm not sure what's going on, but it's going straight to, this wire is going straight to this tone, or that's in the volume. It might be volume. But this should be 0.02, not 22. So that's kind of like a lot more than what it's supposed to be there. So we're gonna replace it with a fancy, like, Sozo cap. Ooh, brand name. Okay, anyway. I don't know if just a generic one would probably have been fine too. I don't know. But I do want to change that because he did say it was like kind of farty. All right, well, let's go for, oh, another thing is that I think there's supposed to be a capacitor here, kind of like as a high-pass capacitor, I think is 0047. Let's take a look at our schematic. Yeah, it's this guy right there. I could put it in if we don't think that it's, I don't know if it's a big deal. I mean, Champs aren't like that. I don't think Princeton's are like that or anything else. And also, oh, you could see, there used to be another, what is that? Grid leak resistor. But I just attached them to the jacks. They're out of the way, so you can plug stuff in. But I put them on the jacks because, well, that's the way Princeton's are and Champs are, and that's kind of what I'm used to. And plus it kind of cleans up that area a little bit. I'm going to try to clean up more. These are the grounds. Instead of running the ground from here and then looping it back, I just put 2 grounds there. And then the hops, I put this red. So it's obvious what I changed. So, you know, the next person going into the amp asking, hey, what changed? I think that they'll like that I make, it's kind of obvious what I changed. All right, let's replace these because these look junky. And let's clip these and make these a little more, and I'll make a little, like, you know, I'll attach them to there, you know, as a ground, as like a central ground point. All right, the only other thing is that the whole ground for the whole amp is going to run through this. I'm not sure if I like that. I don't know if I want the ground, I think I want the ground separate for these filter caps and this preamp section. But I'll attach it there for now, and then we'll see. And if it gets crazy or too noisy or something, or ground or problem with the ground, I'll move the ground to the off a pin off of here, or off a bolt off of here or something. Or maybe I can even reuse this whole crazy area, you know, that center point as like a like a star ground I could make if I get separated, isolated jacks. And so I'm not gonna do that. Anyway, let's get this thing working and see how it sounds, and then we can start playing with other stuff. Obviously, and I just checked this off camera, I drained the filter caps and checked it with my multimeter to make sure that there's no volts on this. You shouldn't just take out your amp and start playing with it, sticking your hand in it. You know, it's a great way to get shocked. I mean, they say that, like, oh, it'd stop your heart or something like that. And I don't know all about that, but I don't want to test my theory either. Anyway, all right, later. Okay, a little bit more, a little bit more. All right, so I like what I did with the ground. I just put it right there. I clipped the wire that was just going to one of them, and I gave separate grounds. Not that it's not grounded against this now, because these aren't so rusty. The next thing I wanted to do is replace these guys. You could debate in your mind that original parts are better, and looking at them and feeling them, I could kind of see why you would say that, except that I don't think this capacitor might be original, but I don't know if this one is, and I don't know, this part was kind of broken off, and well, either way, it's a lot easier just to wire new ones. How do you wire new ones? Well, you look at a schematic, and this is kind of like the like a Princeton type of tone circuit. And what I did is I used my handy dandy vise. I put, you know, it in here and wired it the way it's supposed to be. And then to get the spacing right, I put them reversed in the holes. And then once I had all the leads on one, the volume, I connected the tone and then soldered it while it was here, just so I can do the spacing. Now I left a lot of extra wire, but this is solid core, so I can kind of bend it out of the way. And also this is cloth, so it's like pullback wire, so it's or pushback wire. I'm not sure what it's called, but that makes it easy. It has a little bit of play. I can bend it there, but now since it's the right length, I can unattach it and then flip them and then pop them in, and they'd be the right length. This cord is going to replace this one. I debated using a different type of shielded cable, but then I thought to myself, you know, I didn't use the shielded cable for the inputs, which I could have done. And looking at shielded cable, I'm afraid, I know you ground it at one end, but I'm also afraid, like, if it ends up touching something else while I'm moving it, is it going to ground out something else or fry something? So it probably wouldn't. You can bend and it kind of sets, so you can bend it kind of out of the way. And if I was braver, I would have used it, but this is kind of like the devil I know, so I'm going with that. All right, moving right along. So now we mounted the volume and the tone. I don't like how close this power is to it, but if you look, it clears it. Next is, you can tell, because I used bright yellow wire, which I like using. what's been replaced, and also this that blue cap, and a giant blue 22 UF cap replaced with this little guy, little Sozo, fancy, more of a like a champ type of coupling. I don't know if it's going to pass enough bass. I have other caps I could have used, but there you go. And also, if this filter cap's bad, I might dig up that 22 UF and do it. I also saved a lot of the wire. I don't know if it's like for historical purposes or something like that, but there's still plenty of that other wire that's in here. Now I come to a decision. Now I already told you I'm going to get rid of this. I'm just going to clip it out, 2 seconds. But it comes down to this guy. This is a fuse. There is no fuse in here. If a part was to fail, I would expect the fuse to blow, but without any fuse, what part would blow? I don't know. So how do I do this? This isn't in line. I mean, some people would say, oh, you got to use an inline one, like on this black or white wire here. But I'm not going to, because I don't have one. This is not original. This design has been changed. This is an inexpensive amp. I don't even know if it works yet. You know, I should have turned it on, I should have tested it. But after opening it up and looking at it, I was a little nervous about some of the design decisions that were made. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna mount it right there, come in through here, take these wires off, mount it to that, and then run them into there. And then that would go into the switch as well as to the transformer. And that way I have a fused 1 amp, which is probably too much, because of course what I'm going to drill through says 0.5 amps, so this probably should be a 0.5 amp, but right now any amp, any fuse rather, should protect me to some degree, and plus this is 12 watts, so which is also the other, oh no, I probably won't drill through that part yet. But I'm not a big fan also of these. I like having a like a jack or something in here, which might end up right there. So maybe I could put the fuse here and the jack for the speakers here, and then that might be better. Of course, you love in hearing my furnace right now kick on, but of course I'm working in the basement, like most of us do. All right, let's just do it. Fortune favors the bold. Okay, so getting back to it. Added the fuse, right? I didn't put a fuse in, that's why it's not totally there. And this came out horrible, or not horrible, it just didn't come out the way I wanted. I don't like how this filament heater is kind of like dangling where it is. Actually, I don't even like the filaments at all. It grounds one side with a resistor, I guess, to kind of give it the artificial kind of a center tap, and then it takes the other one and it kind of just doubles over on each one of these, and then just grounds each one of the filament ends, and that's really I never did that before. Actually, I don't even know if I don't like it. I mean, if it doesn't make any noise, then I guess I shouldn't care. But, all right, but anyway, I put the fuse in. I don't like this, but whatever. Everything else is wired up, I think. So I think I'm ready for a test. I'm a little scared, but since I got the fuse in, I'm less scared, because if something is horribly wrong, it should blow the fuse first. Okay, got the furnace going, so that's good luck, right? I put it back in its chassis back in the cabinet. I went with green because I don't have the same type of things, knurled shaft pots. So I put the knobs in the honesty bag, or even replaced the thing with green, and I think this amp is going to be green. I think you'll see what I mean later. The speaker is in horrible shape. what I noticed is it's not just that, you know, there's 1, 2, 3 screws and that's it, but it's like literally like thumping. So if the guy was complaining about rattling, I'm pretty sure that's because the baffle needs to be replaced. But I'll tell you what, let's turn it on. Let's see if it smokes, blows up, any of that other stuff. Ooh, that already scared me. All right, so this is the anti-smoke maker, my Variac. Turned it on. 30 volts. Okay. Hear nothing, see no light. Let's turn it up. Ooh, ooh. Light's starting to come on. Going up to, I should probably let it chill at 60 volts for a second. Right, or 70 volts. Let the caps warm up and all that other stuff. Smell smoke. Let's see. No, this amp smells funky. I'm probably gonna have to do something with this grill cloth, or not. I mean, I'm not sure if I care, but it looks super wavy gravy. I'm not even sure if you can tell like how concave and like back and forth it is in the pictures, but all right, I don't hear anything yet. Let's try a little volume. All the way up, I don't hear anything, but nothing's plugged in. Should I be nervous? Put the tone at midway. I don't know. Wait a couple minutes. Is that light still on? That's good. All right. Let's crank this up to, I don't know, 110, 120, 110, 115. Somewhere around there. You know, like voltage in the walls in the 70s would be. Will it make a noise? I don't know. Let's see. I gotta pause it. I gotta grab a guitar. So, I got my guitar, little Ibanez, Mark Zareki signature model, and it made no noise when I turned it on. So I turned it off, and then I realized, wait a second, I didn't put any tubes in. Look at those empty tube sockets. All right, so let me do that and try this again. All right, bye. Okay, again. Not only did I put the tube sockets in, but I put them in a couple times to kind of clean them out. I tightened this down, so this guy's pretty solid in there. I tightened the 3 screws just so, oh look, it doesn't move anymore, but I don't anticipate that. There's no capture or things holding these tubes in place, and the shield for this is gone. So that's more stuff. This speaker, I think, is replaced, but I don't know if that's like, oh, please tell me that's solder, that they were just soldering it. And all right, well, I'm saying if it makes any sound, that would be great. Those pin sockets were all full loose. So let's try this again. Mr. Variac, if you don't mind, let's start you at, I don't know, 40 again? Okay. I don't hear anything. It's probably good. Light's not on. Turn it up to 60. Dim light. Nothing coming out of the speakers. I don't know if that's a good sign or bad sign. Let's turn it up to, I don't know, somewhere in there. Lighten up. It's making no noise whatsoever. I don't know if I gooched it. All right, let's see, like 1. Ooh, I hear noise. Ooh. All right, let's turn that down a little. I still hear it. It's the same amount of noise. Well, I might have to probably clean some stuff. That's all the way up. That's pretty loud. All right, let's turn it down. Let's get an instrument and see what happens. All right. Once again, Mark Zareki signature guitar. Not that he's ever played it, he just signed it. All right. So Sounds like an amp. Should we stare at the wall while I play it? I wish I could prop it up somewhere. I'll see it, but it might be too much to ask for. Let's see what happens. Alright, sounds good. Wife is coming downstairs.